DaVinci Resolve feels slow, not because your computer is weak, but because Resolve is set up for professionals, not beginners. And today I'm going to show you how to make Resolve feel dramatically faster without upgrading your hardware. But I also want to be clear about something. Even if Resolve runs perfectly after this, that still is not where real editing speed comes from. And I'll come back to that at the end of this video. First, let's start with the biggest and most immediate speed win. Go up to Playback, then Timeline, Playback, Resolution. By default, Resolve tries to play your timeline at full resolution. That is completely unnecessary while you're editing. So set this to half resolution. If your computer really is struggling, then go ahead and set it to quarter resolution. This does not affect your export quality at all. It only affects the playback while you're editing. The moment you do this, most people immediately see smoother playback. This alone helps a lot, but it's not the main reason Resolve feels so slow for beginners. The next thing most people don't realize is that the type of footage you're editing matters more than your computer specs. If you're editing highly compressed footage like H.264 or H.265, which most cameras and screen recordings use, Resolve has to work harder just to play that back. For this, you want to go up to Playback and make sure Use Optimized Media is checked if it's available. Now, to actually create that optimized media, open your media pool, select the clip or clips that you're editing, right-click and choose Generate Optimized Media. Resolve will create easy-to-play versions of those clips in the background and automatically use them during the playback. This alone can make a massive difference. You can also use Proxy Media, which is a separate option. To do that, right-click your clips again and choose Generate Proxy Media. Resolve will automatically create lower resolution proxy files without you needing to choose the settings. Once proxies exist, go back up to Playback, then Proxy Handling, and set it to Prefer Proxies. This tells Resolve to automatically use Proxy Media when it's available and switch back to your camera's original file for export. You're not lowering your final quality, you're only changing what Resolve uses while you edit. Most people skip this step and assume lag means their computer is the problem, when really it's the footage and the format. Now here's something Resolve is often doing in the background that beginners don't even realize. Go to Playback and then Render Cache and set it to Smart. What this does is it allows Resolve to cache sections of your timeline so it doesn't keep reprocessing the same frames over and over again. When this is off, Resolve can end up reprocessing the same effects on the same clips repeatedly, which slows everything down. This is Resolve being smart, not slow. Now let's talk about something that doesn't look like a setting, but absolutely affects your performance. Resolve is a professional tool, which means it encourages people to do professional things early, like adding color and effects and polish while they're still cutting. If you're stacking color nodes, effects, and heavy processing while you're still in the editing phase, Resolve is going to feel heavy no matter what computer you're on. During this phase, avoid heavy color work, avoid timeline effects, and avoid polishing early. This is not about dumbing things down, it's about the timing of when you need to do that. This part matters a lot more than people think, and it connects directly to why many editors feel slow even when the software is running smoothly. Okay, next, let's fix a quiet performance killer that almost nobody is talking about. Go into project settings, look at your timeline resolution. If you're editing 4K but you don't need to see 4K detail while cutting, you are making Resolve work harder for no reason at all. Edit at 1080p, and you can still export at 4K later if you want to by changing the timeline settings back to 4K. Timeline resolution is an editing choice, not a quality commitment. Higher numbers do not mean better editing speed. Now, very quickly, let's touch on GPU settings. Go into Preferences, then Systems, then Memory, and GPU. For most people, auto is perfectly fine. You can switch to manual if you know what you're doing and what you want to experiment with. But this is not where beginners should start. We always fix obvious friction first. Now here's the important part. Even if you dial in all these settings, Resolve can still feel slow if your editing process is unstructured. Software performance is only the first layer of speed. Real speed comes from how you edit and how you make decisions, and whether your workflow reduces or multiplies friction. A fast Resolve does not automatically make a fast editor. If this helped your timeline feel smoother, that is great, because this means Resolve is no longer fighting you. The next question becomes, Why do edits still take so long even when everything runs smoothly? That's where workflow matters, and that's what we'll be talking about right here in this video.